साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ 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 साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ
Dear devotees, you are about to embark on the greatest journey of your life, a journey to the core of your inner being. Please, all in a low voice, follow the Omkar and let your mind reach a quietude of silence. All together, let us repeat the Pranava. Please sit up straight, and in the quietness of your mind, hear the sound of your breathing. Breathe in and out. In, out. Now, open your eyes and see the light in front of you. This is the light of a candle. Gaze intently at the light. Now, feel the light shining in the center of your forehead. Now half close your eyes and feel the light in the center of your forehead. Now, let that light come down your neck to the center of your chest. Imagine a flower, a lotus, opening petal by petal to receive the light. Now the light is resting on the lotus. The lotus disappears. Only the light remains. But it is no more the light of the candle. It is a round ball of formless light. It is a light of divinity within you. Feel this light now expand, and feel the light going down your body, into your legs, up to your feet. Feel warmth as the light surges through your limbs. And make this mental vow, O Lord, my legs, touched by the light of your divinity, will always take me only to places of goodness. Feel the light surging upwards, up into your chest, around your shoulders, and down into your arms and fingers. Feel the warmth as this light surges through you. Make this mental vow, O Lord. My arms, touched by the light of your divinity, will only yearn to do what is good. Now feel the light surging upwards into your neck and into your face, into your head. And the light now shines in your eyes. Make a vow. My eyes must yearn to see only what is good. Feel the light now shining in your ears. My ears must yearn to hear only what is good. Feel the light now shining on your lips. My lips must yearn to only speak what is good. Now, feel this light now shining into your whole body. The light illumines the body. In your mind, repeat the words, the light is in me. Now feel the light expand expand, and you are now sitting in a ball of light, in a cone of formless light. Let your mind say, the light is within me, I am in the light. Feel a thrill of this light, and now feel this light expanding and filling this entire room with a divine glow. And let this light now go beyond this room, beyond and beyond, spreading ever further to this whole country, and beyond this country, beyond oceans and beyond nations. Let this light flow ever outwards to encompass the whole world. Now, imagine yourself, not your physical body, but an inner being within you, like a gigantic divine form, sitting on the globe, and the light of your divinity, the light of your love, encompassing the whole world. Stay for a moment, thrilled in that thought. Now, bring into your mind's eye and send your light of love to all the creatures of the world, all the animals and insects, creatures that fly or crawl. All of them are God's creatures. Send your light of love now to those whom you dislike or whom you think dislike you. Send your love, send your light of love to them. The same Atma in you is also in them. Let them feel the radiance of your light. Let them feel the radiance of your love. Now, into your mind's eye, bring those you love, your spouse, children, relations, friends, whoever. Bathe them with the divine glow of your love. Feel oneness with the whole world. Feel at peace with yourself. And now, look inside you. Can you imagine? Do you see a ball of light within you? In this ball of light, bring in the form of the Ishtadeva, the divine being that you love and worship. See this form smiling within you. See this divine form raise his hands in blessing. You have shared your love with the world. Now, receive the blessing and darshan of the divine within. Stay for a moment, thrilled in this thought that you and he are one.
Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि प्रचोदयात्। ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ श्रीभास्कराय विद्महे साईदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सूर्यः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ प्रेमात्मनाय विद्महे हिरण्यगर्भाय धीमहि तन्नः सत्यः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।
अल्लाहु अकबर अल्लाहु अकबर अल्लाहु अकबर अल्लाहु अकबर। अशहदु अन्ना इलाहा इल्लल्लाह अशहदु अन्ना इलाहा इल्लल्लाह अशहदु अन्ना मुहम्मदर रसूलुल्लाह अशहदु अन्ना मुहम्मदर रसूलुल्लाह। हय्या अला सलाह हय्या अला सलाह हय्या अला फलाह हय्या अला फलाह। अल्लाहु अकबर अल्लाहु अकबर ला इलाहा इल्लल्लाह।
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen.
आज्ञा भैया तार की कभी चलायो बंद, सब सीखन को कम है गुरु मानियो ग्रंथ। गुरु ग्रंथ जी मानियो प्रगट पुरानी में, जो प्रभु को मिल खोज है खोज शब्द मिले। राज करेगा खालसा आकी रहे न कोई, बाल हुए सब मिलेंगे बचे शरण जो होए। वाहे गुरु नाम जहाँ रहे शरदा कर सेव दे, गुरुपाल उतारन हार। जो शरदा कर सेव दे, गुरुपाल उतारन हार। बुद्धं शरणं गच्छामि, धर्मं शरणं गच्छामि, संघं शरणं गच्छामि। ॐ नमो अरिहन्तारम्, ॐ नमो सिद्धारम्, ॐ नमो आर्यारम्, ॐ नमो गजाननम्, नमो ये सब साहुरम्, हे सोमं च नमो कारो, सर्व पावनाशयो मंगलानं च सर्वेषु, परमं भवयेमङ्गलम्। श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ओम्। गणानां त्वा गणपतिगुं हवामहे, कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमम्। ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पत आनशृण्वन्नोतिभिः सीदसादनम्। प्रणो देवी सरस्वती वाजेभिर्वाजनीवती, धीनामवित्रयवतु। गणेशाय नमः, सरस्वत्यै नमः, श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ओम्।
श्री गणेश जय गणेश, जय गुरुदेवा साई गणेश। श्री गणेश जय गणेश, जय गुरुदेवा साई गणेश।
कस्तूरी तिलकं नारायणं कस्तूरी तिलकं नारायणं कस्तूरी तिलकं नारायणं कस्तूरी तिलकं नारायणं कमलनयनं नारायणं
My loving and humble salutations at the divine lotus feet of our beloved Bhagawan Sri Sathya Baba. With love and reverence, gratitude and appreciation, I bring this offering at your divine lotus feet. Dear viewers, Jai Sai Ram. Last month, we looked at Man Ki Shanti, how to attain peace of mind. One of the things I left you with to ponder over was about sealing on desires. And this month we will delve into Bhagawan's divine teachings on sealing on desires a little bit more. So Swami has said, remove the I, which is the ego, and remove the want, which is desires. And then we are left with peace. It's so simple. Bhagawan's teachings are so simple, and yet we make them so complex. In the words of Mahatma Gandhi, it reminds me that earth provides enough to satisfy every man's need, but not every man's greed. This kind of gives you a clue as to how we will look and explore into Bhagawan's teachings. So even last month, we watched a little video clip. It was a very old video clip by David Jeevons. I just wanted to recap something from there, which Bhagawan has said that very few of us go to him to get the one thing he wants us to have, and that is liberation itself. Even among those few that go and stick to this path of spiritual sadhana, very few will succeed in that. After running after external things produces discontent. That type of desire has no end. Once you have become a slave to the senses, they will not leave you until you are dead. It is an unquenchable thirst, but I call you to me to even grant worldly boons. And this is that even when we go to him, he gives us what we need and what we actually want sometimes. We have to be patient with that. And no avatar has done like this before, gone among the masses, counseling them, guiding them, consoling them, uplifting them and directing them along the path of truth and righteousness and peace and love, Sathya, Dharma, Shanti and Prema. We're going to watch a short video clip. It's actually a very long video, but I've recapped some of the salient points. So desires is one of the 6 enemies of man. So we'll hear from Dr. Rajeshri Patel, who is the director of the Sri Sathya Sai Institute of Higher Learning in Anandpur. Jai Sara.
I don't know if all of you know what these 6 enemies are. The 6 Arishad Varga. Shad means 6 Vargas. So they are the enemies of man. Kama, that is desire. Krodha, that is anger. Lobha, that is greed. Moha, that is attachment. Mada, that is arrogance or ego. And Matsarya, that is jealousy or the green-eyed envy. Sorry. Now, you know, these 6 enemies, why do we even call them enemies of man? Because they have the power to destroy us completely. But what we need to remember is that each of these enemies of man, they do not act independently. They are interconnected. That is, if you have desire, and if desire enters your mind, it will bring along with it anger if your desire is not fulfilled, and it will bring greed, it will bring attachment, it will bring arrogance when you achieve the object that you want to get hold of, and then it will bring matsarya also along with it, because you are jealous if somebody tries to take it away from you, or if somebody else also has it. So they are interconnected. That is what you will find everywhere. But I would like to, if you go to any books or all that, this is what they will tell you. But I would like to take a more positive approach. If you prevent one of them from entering your mind, none of them will be able to enter your mind. What I said before is, if one enters, all the others will also enter. And then the destruction is going to be total. But if you do not allow, first of all, desire to enter your mind, then anger will not enter, cannot enter, then lobha cannot enter. So you are blocking all the other 5 enemies if you are able to stop one from entering. What we learn to do is step by step. If the 6 enemies have already overpowered us, to make each one of them one by one loosen their grip over us. And that is what can be done through sadhana. That brings me to this other point. When we were in high school, and I told you already that I joined Bhagawan's college at a young age, one of the highlights of my early years in Bhagawan's institution was he insisted at that young age that we must do sadhana. Doing sadhana at a young age is very, very helpful in controlling our mind. Some basic things that he started with, if there are a few students here in the audience, ex-students, either whether boys or girls, they will be able to substantiate. Swami used to give us simple lessons. Do not waste time. Is that anyway connected to the 6 enemies? Of course. Sadhana of every kind, even these simple teachings of Bhagawan, they are all connected to the 6 enemies. So do not waste time, he used to say. Do not waste food. So we are talking of lobha and all that. You can actually in a subtle way connect all of this. I'll bring you to some really interesting things. Do not waste water. Water is not an inexhaustible resource. So by controlling our use of water, excessive water, we're actually controlling our mind. Do not waste water. Do not waste food. Do not waste time, because idle mind is a devil's workshop. All the 6 enemies will easily get in. So do not waste time. Do not waste sound. I got so used to that, not talking loudly, even in normal conversation, that if I have to, keep quiet a noisy class and enter, and they're all, how young girls can, so I have to take the duster and hit it on the table to draw their attention because they can't hear my voice. Swami used to say that we must not waste sound, not talk louder than necessary. So do not waste energy. And it's surprising the way he related it. Do not waste energy also meant do not go on thinking, crowd your mind with thoughts, because you become tired. So you waste your energy. He used the example of a radio. If a radio is kept on, you may not be listening to it. How much energy it will take, in terms of electrical power. Same way, if your mind goes on chatting inside, talking inside, without a break, it will tire you. So, what do we need to do to conquer these 6 enemies? We have to go to Bhagawan, to go to God with love and humility and pray to Him to keep those 6 enemies away from us. There is no complex sadhana that you have to do, just prayer. Swami, please see that Maya does not touch me. Swami, see that I will desire only for one thing, and that is you. If at all, then liberation. If at all, then your divine proximity, and to be always available to you in your service. Let me not desire anything else. Don't allow my monkey mind to jump from here to there. Just prayer. I think practically for the last 35 years, that has been my constant prayer. Not a single day have I stopped praying for that. We have to pray to Bhagawan to keep that Maya which is in his control away from us. So if we do that, then we will definitely be able to conquer the 6 enemies. Jai Sai Ram.
Wasn't that just wonderful? Thank you, Dr. Rajeshwari Patel. So the 6 enemies of man: Kama, which is desire; Krodha, which is anger; Lobha, which is greed; Moha, attachment; Mada, arrogance and ego; and Matsarya, which is jealousy. So you can see how everything is interlinked. And I'm sure that you've been watching many satsangs and listening to lots of discourses, and you'll find that Bhagawan always gave us the same message over and over again. And why is that? Because we have a tendency not to hear the message that Bhagawan wants to give us. So this is a wonderful opportunity for us to remind ourselves of Bhagawan's simple teachings and messages. So actually, Swami then gave us the 9-point code of conduct, which for every devotee or anybody actually wanting to progress on the spiritual path, these 9 points code of conduct is a great way to start. And number 7 of that is to put into practice the principle of sealing on desires and using those savings thereby generated for the service of mankind. But don't forget, and Bhagawan has said this very clearly in a discourse, that sealing on desires is not there to raise funds for the organization. It is actually meant for the devotee to progress and develop in their inner being and inner self and find that inherent divinity within them. So we look at these sealing on desires, and the first one that comes to mind is food. Did you know that 1 in every 5 bags of shopping, this is in the UK, so every 5 bags of shopping, 1 of them actually ends up as waste? And that is an enormous amount of waste that is going into landfill, that is just rotting away when it could actually be used and used for feeding people that actually need that. So buying well and storing our food correctly is very important. I, during this lockdown, have got into a habit, and I'm sure many of you have, is to remove all that plastic packaging that comes in supermarkets and remove that, wipe down or use antibacterial wipes and stuff, and then store that fruit and vegetable correctly in your fridge or freezer. So there are lots of tips out there, and I'm sure that you can find the safest way of keeping fruit and vegetables for longer. So completely eating our plates and reusing any leftovers that we have, or even freezing them. If you do batch cooking, that is a wonderful thing to do as well. And during this lockdown, it's interesting, but I found a very lovely statistic, and our new habits are actually shaping the future. And so far, we've reported that we are throwing away 1/3 less, that's over 1/3 actually, 34% less during lockdown. So people are becoming a lot more mindful. And there we go, that was one of the first satsangs that we did about eating mindfully and being aware of what you put in on your plate and what you actually intake as well. So everything is connected. So please consider and think about the food that you're buying. I, for one, have actually teaching myself and learning how to grow my own vegetables and herbs. Slowly and surely, I'm making a difference, but I'm making a difference by buying less and actually eating better. I know my food habits are wonderful, and I'm sure many of you who know me will think, really? But I am, slowly and surely, step by step, making small changes. We can help the way we live in the world. So food waste is very important. And I'm sure many of you during this lockdown are learning new skills. Please do share in the chat if you've done something surprising or you've learned something new that you think is all about sealing on desires. So please do share that with our viewers. So actually, if you think about it as well, I remember getting a packet of seeds, and you look at these small seeds and you think, for a seed to achieve its greatest expression, it must completely come undone. So this little seed will have to break and grow into something. The shell cracks open, and inside from it comes something, a plant, a seedling, a sapling, and then a plant, and then hopefully flowers and a fruit will grow. Now, somebody from the outside who doesn't understand growth will think, oh my God, this is complete destruction. And just like Dr. Rajeshwari said, if we don't manage these 6 enemies, they can be of complete destruction. So every little thing is connected that we do in life. And I always remember, I've seen little video clips of Bhagawan eating, and he used to eat very little, a little bit of pepper or, poppadoms or pickle and stuff like that, very little. And then he would actually get his satisfaction and enjoyment from watching his guests eat. So food is very important. Do not waste food. Swami says that time and time again. And I'm sure we are getting much, much better at that. Meal planning. Again, like the month before, we did the Sathsang with Shanti from Mexico about bliss is my food. She gave us a wonderful example of how to balance your meal so you're eating better, but also being mindful of any waste that we are creating. So food waste, definitely. What comes next? Time. We had the Bhajan, Galatithaya. God is the only one beyond time, and we know that. But how can we conserve time? And also interlinked with that is energy. It is better to live your own destiny imperfectly than to live an imitation of somebody else's life with perfection. Sri Krishna said that in the Bhagavad Gita. And it's very important that we actually live our own life in our own time space and stuff. And as Dr. Rajeshwari also said, an idle mind is the devil's workshop. So don't keep it idle, but also don't keep all that chitter chatter going on in your mind, because thoughts will enter and they'll overtake as well. 86,400 seconds in a day, 1,440 minutes in a day, 24 hours in a day, and it goes on and on. Days into weeks, weeks into months, months into years, years into yugas, and we just continue and continue. But how are we actually spending our time? Bhagawan reminds us that we must spend our time wisely. And I'm sure that during this lockdown, we are restricted in our homes with the people that we are surrounded by, the ones that we love and care for. So it's actually very important that we look very effectively at who we spend our time with. So think about that as well. Who are we actually spending those seconds with in a day? At least spend some time with Bhagawan himself as well. Remember him in your day. And then interconnected with time is energy. And I was thinking about this and I thought, what do we mean by energy? What does Bhagawan actually mean by energy? And I thought, it's power. Power multiplied by time. So if you think about it, you have a car, it has energy in it. Now we get electric cars and stuff like that. So energy is bound in so many ways and wrapped up in so many ways. The world's population is about 8 billion, or maybe a little bit less than that with the current situation. That's a lot of people, 8 billion people. We have time to spend on Earth with a limited few. We'll never get around and meet 8 billion people. But again, with time, how we spend our time, we should also be mindful of where we spend our energy. We might only meet and truly connect with a few thousand people in our lifetime. If you think about it, when you were young, are those people still in your life? Are your friends and family still there with you? Think about all the people that you've grown up with. Are they still there with you? So be selective in whom you spend your time with and connect with. And I also thought about this, and I thought, how does this happen? So there may be, you can kind of tap in and you can kind of consider this yourself. You may know whether you're raising your energy or vibration. And there's 5 little simple points which might tell you that you're actually changing your vibrations and your energy. So 1, you may feel inspired to downsize, declutter, and create space in your life. I know that we've done various bits around the house, the kitchen, the garage, my bedroom, all sorts of bits and stuff, and you declutter, you get rid of things that you don't need anymore. And it feels wonderful. That energy that you create when you remove clutter is wonderful. So that's one way you may know, and you may be able to realize that you're actually raising your vibration and your energy. The other thing is, as well, is your diet may be changing in surprising ways, because you'll probably find that actually, I don't like these favorite foods anymore. I need to eat something more wholesome, more healthy. And I'm sure many of you during lockdown are actually thinking about what we are eating. I hope you are anyway. So the other point as well is your energy may be there different, because actually you feel calm and you feel still. You're probably able to join in meditation with us on Thursdays and Sundays and actually stay still for more than a minute. Meditation is about 9 minutes long, I think. Imagine if you could sit still for 9 minutes and actually absorb yourself into that. So your energy levels may be changing because you find that you can sit still for longer. The other point as well, and I've come across this recently, is that you feel extra sensitive to your own and other people's emotional energy. You can watch something on TV or hear something in the news, and all of a sudden you feel all teary and stuff. And there I am sitting, finding my tissue, trying to wipe my tears and stuff. But it's about raising your energy, and you feel connected with somebody else's energy and that emotional energy. So it's wonderful to be able to do that. But again, Swami reminds us is conserve your energy, don't waste it. But feeling connected with somebody else is a wonderful thing in itself. And the 5th thing is you may feel that you're actually realizing the potency of words. So how you speak, what words you choose, you become mindful of the language that you use when you're around people. And that's a wonderful thing as well. So energy really can be bound up with time. It kind of interlinks quite well. So the 4th thing is money. And I came across something recently: reduce, refuse, recycle, and reuse. So reduce what you have, reuse what you have, recycle, and refuse. So they're very simple words, but they can mean so much before you actually go out and spend something. Swami has told us 3 questions to ask before you buy anything, before you make any kind of purchase whatsoever. Do I need it? So the first question is, do I need it? Second question, can I buy it? Can I afford it? And not on credit. So can you afford it and can you buy it outright? Then there's also another interesting point here. Did you know that all these schemes like buy now, pay later are growing at incredible rates? 39% every year. People are buying more and more because of these crazy consumerism tactics of the economy to get you to spend your money. Buy now, pay later. Do we really need it? Can I afford it? And not on credit. And then the 3rd question is, can I live without it? Do I actually need it? Can I buy it? Can I live without it? Then go ahead and make that purchase after you've made 3 questions. And I'm not asking you to go out and spend your money. Definitely not. Use your money wisely. I remember Ajay Uncle, and I've been on many trips with Ajay Uncle, and he used to tell us time and time again, there are 3 things in your life that should be flowing. Blood. Obviously, if your blood is not flowing around your body, things will happen. Water must be flowing as well. You must drink plenty of water, and obviously it comes out as well. And the third thing is money must be flowing. As you receive it, you must give it. And if you don't give it, it's like water. If water is stagnant, it becomes filthy and it becomes smelly and stinky. And that also, incidentally, where that term comes from, stinky rich. So if water is not flowing and it's just stagnant in a little stream or a pond or anything, it becomes very smelly and stuff. So 3 things in your life that must be flowing: blood, water, and money. Definitely do that. Again, there's so many things that you can hear and read and learn about. Is that money should be like shoes. They must be a good fit, not too tight and not too loose. Don't give it all away, but don't be too tight with it too. Money should also be like fertilizer. If you spread it around, you'll get a bumper harvest. So, Bhagawan, again, a reminding point, money can be a taboo subject, and not many of us will talk about it. We shy away from talking about money issues and stuff. But Bhagawan reminds us that Sealing on Desires program is not about collecting funds for the organization. It is meant for the individual to progress on the spiritual path. And the 5th thing, which I think was added in later on during the organization, because I've only just very recently come across it. But if you take all these 4 things and you look at it, the economy is telling us to buy. It's about consumerism. The economy wants to pick up. The government wants you to go out, spend your money so money can move and change hands and stuff like this. But actually, in doing this, we are exploiting nature. So the 5th point is about not exploiting nature. So Swami has said, in order to protect nature, man has to practice sealing on desires. He should not trigger the negative aspect of nature. Care should be exercised in providing comforts, as excessive comforts may spoil man's mind and cause misery instead of happiness. And we all know that if we accumulate more, we will get depressed. Nothing good can be achieved without certain restraints. Because of the advancement of technology and provision of excessive comforts, life has become mechanical and spirituality has declined. And Bhagawan has shared so many messages about this, and it's so pertinent as well. Here's a statistic for you. So out of 84 billion living species on Earth, 83,999,999, so one less out of 84 billion, species of creatures like insects, birds, animals, bees, beasts, etc., all live by what is provided by God in nature. Only man is the only one that doesn't live without what nature provides. So we go out and we manufacture and we make things to fulfill our desires. But just 1 out of 84 billion species on this planet, everything else just lives by what nature provides. Isn't that just amazing? Absolutely amazing. So there's a video that we're going to watch next, and that is about Buddha. And I think Buddha's life teaches us so much, because he was born a prince and he had the wealth of anything. His father, Shuddhadan, would give him anything he desired. It was at his beck and call. But he left all that because he wanted to follow the spiritual path and attain peace and enlightenment. Let us watch a video about releasing.
Releasing by Buddha. One day, Buddha was sitting in the woods with 30 or 40 monks. They had an excellent lunch and they were enjoying the company of each other. Suddenly there was a farmer passing by, and the farmer was very unhappy. He asked the Buddha and the monks whether they had seen his cows passing by. Buddha told him that they had not seen any cows passing by. The farmer said, "Monks, I am so unhappy. I have 12 cows, and I don't know why they all ran away. I have also a few acres of a sesame seed plantation, and the insects have eaten up everything. I suffer so much. I think I am going to kill myself." And Buddha said, "My friend, we have not seen any cows passing by here. You might like to look for them in the other direction." So the farmer thanked him and ran away. And then Buddha turned to his monks and said, "My dear friends, you are the happiest people in the world. You don't have any cows to lose. If you have too many cows to take care of, you will be very busy. That is why, in order to be happy, you have to learn the art of releasing. You release the cows one by one. In the beginning, you thought that those cows were essential to your happiness, and you tried to get more and more cows. But now you realize that cows are not really conditions for your happiness. They constitute an obstacle for your happiness. That is why you are determined to release your cows. You see, in life, you can apply the releasing of cows to the releasing of all the material things that you have. I am not claiming that you should live without any material things, but it is true that the more you have, the more you worry about them, and the more that you possess, you will fear losing those possessions. That's why the only real possessions that you can never lose are the ones that you keep in your heart."
Wasn't that wonderful? So, releasing of all material things that you have. The more you have, the more you worry about them. The more you possess, the more you will fear of losing them. So the less you have, the more peaceful you will be. Man ki shanti will come from less chitter-chatter in the mind, less possessions. And the only real possession that you can never lose is the one that you keep in your heart. So to keep Bhagawan in your heart, that is one thing that we must do. So Swami says that is why he is always emphasized on practicing sealing on desires. Do not waste time. Time waste is life waste. Do not waste food, because food is God. Do not waste money. Misuse of money is evil. Do not waste energy. Energy is God. You see, hear, speak, and smell and perform all actions only due to the divine energy of God. Do not waste your divine energy by misusing your senses. If you put this divine energy to sacred use, you can attain the sacredness of divinity. But if you waste this energy, you will be a victim of many diseases. And this is Bhagawan saying in Sathya Sai Speaks, volume 29, back in 1996. Every single message of Bhagawan is so connected and so potent. And Buddha reminds me of a very beautiful saying, simple living, higher thinking. He had everything, the riches of the kingdom and everything, and just left it, completely left it. So life minus desires is man. Life minus Life plus desires is man, and life minus desires is God. So in Vedanta, in philosophy, in our philosophy, we have to develop detachment. As you go on developing detachment from the world, your divine attachment will increase. You may well be doing repetition of the name of japa or meditation, but what results are you attaining thereby? You're closing your eyes and sitting. That is not meditation. Your mind is wandering around like a monkey, a mad monkey, as Bhagawan would say. Actually, doing meditation like this is a waste of time. So if your mind is jumping around, it's a waste of time. Time waste is life waste. If you cannot control your mind, involve yourself in actions, in good actions. Do some work. Don't idle and don't waste your time. In some situations, you are not able to understand what divinity is. Divinity is everywhere. Outside in nature, it is there. So we mustn't exploit nature by having so many desires. You yourself are a divine power. Try to recognize your own divine power. Don't go around like mad people here and there in search of it. It's a waste of time and a waste of money, a waste of energy. Follow only one path and have only one thought. Less talk equals more work. There is too much talking and spiritual energy is wasted because of talking. Here is a small example, and Swami said this about a radio. When you turn on a radio, you hear the sound. There is a waste of electrical power. The body is actually like a radio. The intellect is the switch. The talk is the sound, and our energy is that current that flows through the radio. Lots of energy is being wasted because of talk. Because of a waste of energy, allergy is developed. With allergy, we develop weakness. And because of weakness, we are not able to do anything. Ultimately, we become a madman. And that's a result of no spiritual practice. So as Dr. Rajeshwari said, by doing sadhana, we can control the mind and actually limit our desires. And isn't it so wonderful that Swami has said not to remove desires, but have a ceiling on them. So we don't have to get carried away. Bhagawan would not want us not to have anything, but to have in limit. So limit yourself in what you have. There is a beautiful thing that I know that we actually do every Thursday or every Sunday, whenever you sit for prayer. You take some vibhuti and you apply it on your hand, on your forehead, or on your throat. It's a beautiful reminder that vibhuti is reminding us of burning our desires. It's a very small clip of vibhuti, and I want you to actually listen to the words because they're so profound, and it's a very beautiful clip. Jai Saram.
Baba is performing Abhishek, or giving a holy bath of vibhuti to a silver image of Shirdi Sai Baba. In this divine act, Baba materializes a continuous flow of vibhuti from an empty jar held before him till Shirdi Sai Baba's image becomes almost immersed in it. In the Brihad Upanishad, ash or vibhuti is equated with prosperity and one's spiritual splendor. As a talisman, it destroys danger and protects the one who takes this Sai ornaments of purity. It is a silent messenger of detachment and renunciation. Baba says, Vibhuti is symbolic of reducing our desires to ashes. Seeing purity in all actions of others is wonderful to experience.
Holding and beholding of Vibhuti wonder. Vibhuti Abhishek, of the silver statue of Shirdi Sai Baba covered with ash, a ritual cleansing. Bhagawan actually did this very first time in 1940 and the very last time in 1976 to teach devotees a lesson of detachment. Shiva burns Kama, the god of desires, to a heap of ashes. Afterwards, Shiva decorates himself with that ash and thereto shines as a triumph on desires. When Kama, desire, is destroyed, Brahma, goddess of love, can rule. Love can only be true and complete when all desires have been given up. There is no greater sacrifice to offer God than the ash, which is a sign of your victory over desires. And Bhagawan has very beautifully narrated that. And I thought, how wonderful is that, that every Thursday or every Sunday, whenever we finish Bhajans, we take a little bit of vibhuti as protection that it is, but also to remind us that it is burning our desires. So next time you take vibhuti, remember this. And it's very powerful, very beholding wonder of vibhuti, Abhisheka. So it's wonderful. And everything is becoming very connected, and you'll find that a lot of satsangs and talks that you listen to become so connected. And I was trying to find an audio or a video clip of one of Bhagawan's discourses that he gave in Madras in 1983 at Abbotsbury in what is now known as Chennai. And sadly, I couldn't find an audio of it, but there is in the resources afterwards. You can read this discourse, how Swami explains about the ceiling on desires and actually makes the members of the organization understand it very clearly. He even says in there, doctors know that the human body's normal temperature is 98.4 degrees. If this goes up to 99, they say you have a fever. If it drops, then there's disorder in the body too. So it's interesting that, you know, certain things have to be in limit. And Bhagawan explains through this discourse that actually very simple things like controlling our own body and our own temperature, our blood sugar, various things like that, we have to look after our own health. Because if we don't do that, then all these desires come in, and that's where we get disease and will actually destroy us, like Dr. Rajeshwari was saying, is that it can become very critical for our spiritual progress. So actually think about this. Very interesting. Desires are the source of all misery. But then I thought about it and I thought, desires aren't the source of all misery. Unfulfilled desires are the cause of all misery. So if you've got an unfulfilled desire, they can cause misery. But actually, desires do cause misery as well. So finding the balance, finding the middle road in everything that we do and seek. Whatever befalls the earth, the sons of earth, man does not weave the web of life. He is merely a strand in it. Whatever he does to the web, he does to himself. These were some quotes that I found, and I thought, how potent are these? And I wanted to leave you. Very soon we'll come to the end of the satsang. But please do share what you've been doing through the lockdown, how you've been practicing seeing on desires, because I'm sure that the food, the energy, the time, the money, how you're actually thinking about nature and the environment is actually being quite different during lockdown than it would normally be, because you're using your car less. You're not traveling to work, you may be working from home and stuff. So think about how you can continue doing those things after lockdown eases. So two very important points that I want to leave you with. We do not inherit the earth from our ancestors. We actually borrow it from our children. And this is really, really important, because we have to think about every single action, every single decision that we take. whatever desires they are, everything we do will have an impact on our environment and nature. So think about everything that you do. When you get what you want, that's God's direction. When you don't get what you want, that's God's protection. And with that, there's just 8 more points that I wanted to leave you with, and I want you to think about these things. So before I finish, money, I said reduce, refuse, recycle, and reuse. So think about those things before you actually spend your money. But if you think about it, I want you to rethink. So that's your choice. So rethink is your choice. Refuse, and that means single use. So don't use plastic carrier bags, single use plastic carrier bags. And if you have to, make sure you reuse them, and reuse them. The other one is reduce. So this is consumption. So whether it be food, energy, sound, anything you think of, reduce it. That's your consumption. Reuse everything, absolutely everything. You will find a use for absolutely everything in your house. Refurbish old stuff. So if you've got something old that's actually not fulfilling its purpose anymore, repurpose it. Find something and refurbish it. The other one is repair. So before you replace, repair it. Is there a new skill that I can learn and repair something that's old and almost on its way out? Repair it. The 7th one is repurpose. So repurpose, be creative, reinvent. So I know I've been watching lots of YouTube videos on growing various items, and there's always a video that pops up in between, and that's about a plastic milk carton. So what can you do with a plastic milk carton? You can make it into a scoop for scooping compost into your plants. You can make it into a funnel. There's so many different things that you can actually do. So repurpose, be creative, be inventive. And then your last option is to recycle. So if it's something that you cannot reuse, reduce, repurpose, or anything like that, then recycle it. So these are some very interesting points. And I hope that this satsang has left you thinking about sealing on desires. It's not about removing them, but it's about sealing them. Sealing them with sadhana. Do sadhana, which will actually control the mind and the thoughts, calm you down, and actually make you consider and think about what it is you want. And also to rewind as well. In the words of Mahatma Gandhi, earth provides enough to satisfy every man's need, but not every man's greed. And with that, I offer this at your divine lotus feet, Bhagawan. Jai Sai Ram to you all.
Save your food for those who need. Everything is divine. Save your money for a self sacrifice will make you free. Everything is divine. For Swami advising, sealing our desires daily. Remember, everything is divine. Daily, 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 remember, everything is
Asato ma sadgamaya tamasho ma jyotirgamaya mrityorma amritam gamaya. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Tat Sat Shri Narayana Tu Purushottama Guru Tu Siddha Buddha Tu Skanda Vinayaka Savita Pavaka Tu Savita Pavaka Tu Brahmamasa Tu Yavashakti Tu Yeshu Pita Prabhu Tu Rudra Vishnu Tu Rama Krishna Tu Rahimata Tu Rahimata Tu Vasudeva Go Vishwarupa Tu Chidananda Hari Tu Advitiya Tu Akala Nirbhaya Atmalinga Shiva Tu Atmalinga Shiva Tu Atmalinga Shiva Tu. Om Jai Jagadish Hare Swami Sathya Sai Hare Bhakta Jana Samrakshaka Bhakta Jana Samrakshaka Parti Maheshwara. Om Jai Jagadish Hare Sashivadana Shrikara Sarva Pranapate Swami Sarva Pranapate Ashrita Karpaladika Ashrita Karpaladika Aparvardava. Om Jai Jagadish Hare Mata Pita Gurudevam Variyantayunive Swami Variyantayunive Nada Brahma Jagannatha Nada Brahma Jagannatha Nagendra Shayana. Om Jai Jagadish Hare Om Kara Rupa Jai Shri Sai Mahadeva Satya Sai Mahadeva Mangala Arati Anduka Mangala Arati Anduka Mangala Giridhari. Om Jai Jagadish Hare नारायण सत्यनारायण नारायण ओम जय सद्गुरुदेवा नारायण नारायण ओम सत्यनारायण नारायण नारायण ओम नारायण नारायण ओम सत्यनारायण नारायण ओम सत्यनारायण नारायण ओम जय सद्गुरुदेवा नारायण नारायण ओम सत्यनारायण नारायण नारायण ओम नारायण नारायण ओम सत्यनारायण नारायण ओम सत्यनारायण नारायण ओम जय सद्गुरुदेवा शांति 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 समस्त लोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्त लोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्त लोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु शांति 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 जय बोलो भगवान श्री सत्य साई बाबा जी की जय भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यम् भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात् भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यम् भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात् भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यम् भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात् भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यम् भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात् भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यम् भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात् तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यम् भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यम् भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यम् भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यम् भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्
साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ 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 साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वपात्। ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वप्रचोदयात्। 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 ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वप्रचोदयात्।